Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday the 14th of August 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The Civil Emergency Service has reported 5 new fires in the past 24 hours. Affected areas include Korç, Vlor, Shkodër, Lezhë and Dibër. The recent rainfall has been somewhat of a saving grace, seemingly improving the fire situation significantly across the country. Fires in Shkodër, Lezhë and Dibër are extinguished, no blazes are reported in Tiran, and all fires in Vlora are close to being put out completely. As previously reported, firefighting teams assisted by firefighting vehicles, military forces, helicopters, dozens of volunteers and employees of the Directorate of Forests have all been battling the blazes. According to the civil emergencies, the fires in Finiç and Delvin are still active. The situation has been problematic in some of Vlora's villages, but thanks to the air operations, almost all blazes have been extinguished. Fire erupted in a wooded area of Korç. Both firefighting teams and 12 teams from the Forest Directory were sent to tackle the flames. However, they were unsuccessful due to the rugged terrain. Later, 20 military forces were sent and are currently working to isolate the flames, stopping their spread in order to make extinguishing them a simpler task. Fire erupted in an area of bushes in northern Shkodra, where the local authorities sent 14 firefighting teams, first isolating the flames and then extinguishing them. In Lezhë, fire erupted in the Shënkoll administrative unit. The local authorities sent 2 firefighting teams, which tried to extinguish the flames, but the strong winds made their work difficult. 10 additional teams were sent to aid the operation, which resulted in success. The fire, which did put nearby houses at risk, was extinguished. Military forces, firefighting teams, employees of the Forest Directory and volunteers have continued with their operation in the Dibër area. The blazes were extinguished with assistance from the previous day's rainfall. Despite the improvements, the danger of new fires erupting remains as temperatures continue to be high. The civil emergency specialists are constantly monitoring the situation throughout the country. Should you see any signs of fire, the Civil Emergency Service continues to implore you to contact emergency phone numbers immediately. The MP for the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity, Atif Rakipi, who crushed a pedestrian to death with his vehicle in the early hours of Saturday, has denied all accusations against him. In a communication with Aura News, the PJIU MP expressed his sincere apologies for the person hit by his vehicle. I am really sorry for the person who died and for his family. I am not concerned about the political accusations. I was not driving too fast. My vehicle was damaged because I tried to avoid the accident. The victim showed up abruptly in front of my vehicle, and I have nothing to clarify further. I did not make any effort to use my position as a Member of Parliament to assist myself in this situation. The police and prosecution have already collected their evidence, and they will make a decision. The victim appeared suddenly in front of my vehicle. It was an accident and one that could not be avoided despite me abiding by the speed limit, declared the MP. He went on to clarify why he left the scene of the accident after his occurrence. I was at the scene. I saw people gathering around. During those initial moments, I was in shock. I decided to surrender to police and I arrived at the police station within 5 minutes. The police have the testimonies of witnesses to attest to this, added the PJIU MP. The MP explained that he was coming back from a hospital in the early hours of Saturday morning after visiting a relative who suffers from a serious illness. The Democratic Party has again reacted to the road incident involving the PJIU MP. The Democratic Party is asking the Prosecutor General and Assembly Speaker to remove the MP's immunity and to start a thorough investigation into the PJIU's MP, Atif Rakipi. The Democratic Party says that the MP should be held responsible by law for leaving the scene and adds that the MP is benefiting from his close relationship with the Prime Minister. Fleeing the scene after hitting a citizen with his car is a cowardly act by MP Rakipi and is a clear criminal offence, making the situation for the MP difficult. But as the Prime Minister's friend, he has benefits, especially as he is known as a crucial contact of Edi Rama's connections with trafficking. The Democratic Party asks the Prosecutor General and Assembly Speaker to urgently start with procedures to remove the MP's immunity. Start a complete and unaffected investigation of the event so that justice for the victim is served, reads the Democratic Party's announcement. The Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity responded to the Democratic Party, asking it not to conduct politics over a tragic accident. The Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity calls on the Democratic Party not to play the role of hyenas with such a tragic accident. Political intervention in such cases is miserable politics, outside of any democratic standards and the most absurd way of conducting politics. The political agreement reached on May 18 continues, and the Democratic Party has 7 ministers in the government. So we are asking the prosecution and police not to be affected by political interventions or pressures and to conduct all the necessary actions according to the law. We express our sincere apologies and condolences to the family of the victim in this tragic event. It is surely an undesirable situation for everyone, reads the statement from the PJIU. Kosovo's parliament failed for the 5th time to elect a new assembly speaker and vice speakers because they lack the necessary quorum. The representatives from the parties, the Democratic Party of Kosovo, the Alliance for the Future of Kosovo and the PAN Coalition did not take part in the session, and the chairperson was again forced to interrupt the proceedings. The chairperson declared that they needed only 55 lawmakers, but that they couldn't proceed without the PAN Coalition representatives. Also, lawmakers from the minorities, who have 20 seats in the Assembly, were absent from today's session. The representatives of the PAN Coalition had previously announced that they would not participate in today's plenary session. However, the chairperson announced a 15-minute postponement at the beginning of the session to see whether the MPs of the PAN Coalition or minorities would join. As the session resumed, it was clear that the winning coalition of elections would not participate, and the chairperson invited the parliamentary parties to hold a consultative meeting on Wednesday. According to the chairperson, this is the last time the parties will be called for a consultative meeting. Afterwards, some of the MPs expressed their concerns regarding the political situation that has now been created in the country. The chief of the self-determination movement considered the boycott of the PAN Coalition to be absurd, given that the session was called by them. According to him, the future government now has 2 alternatives: to ensure the necessary 81 votes with self-determination or 59 votes with the Democratic Party of Kosovo. According to Kosovo's constitution, the Assembly Speaker is proposed by the largest parliamentary group and is elected with a majority of votes in Parliament. The Parliament cannot continue with any other procedure for the formation of institutions until an Assembly Speaker is elected. The 15-day phase for the formation of government starts only after the election of the Assembly Speaker. 2 months have passed since the early general elections were held on June 11. The Assembly of Kosovo is still not fully constituted, and the new government is still awaiting its complete ascension. Respiratory infections, food poisoning, fever, heat stroke and dehydration are all more than common during these hot summer days. According to data from Tirana's hospital, around 90 to 100 people with such symptoms visit the emergency room each day. Doctors say that if citizens have signs of such illnesses, they should consult their general practitioner. A doctor from Tirana's hospital calls on citizens not to attempt to self-medicate without first seeking a prescription. Food poisoning is really prevalent during these days, and a lot of citizens have suffered from this problem. However, the doctors say that the situation is under control and that the number of citizens with food poisoning is lower than 4 years ago. According to the doctors, children, people with chronic diseases and pregnant women are the most affected by illnesses during the summer heat. Tirana's mayor, Erion Veliaj, announced today that the Big Ring Road will open in September. As the mayor inspected the work that the City Hall has begun for the reconstruction of the Big Ring Road, Mr. Veliaj advised that he considered the road segment to be very important. This is a vital project for the capital, a main point which will regulate road traffic. The Ring Road will connect 2 main populated areas of Tirana, Farka and Kashar. The pace of work for this project has been extraordinary, and I'm happy with what has been achieved in only a few months for such a big project. For this reason, I am proud of all the colleagues, engineers and workers who have worked day and night to realise this development. Some have even sacrificed their summer holidays solely so that this project can be finished by the time the rest of the citizens return from their vacations in September, declared the mayor. Mr. Veliaj went on to add that the City Hall is also working on improvements to streetlights, secondary roads, sidewalks and overpasses for pedestrians. We aim to have finished all work on Tirana's Big Ring Road before the start of school. I do ask for a little patience from the citizens of Tirana as we are working with heavy machines and dealing with expropriations. All of this is vital for the improvement of our city and does require a lot of cooperation from citizens, declared the Mayor. With the creation of the new government, the Mayor said, the other projects of the Big Ring Road will also be attended to with priority. The City Hall will also start its operation to close all illegal entrances and exits in the main roads of the capital, created by different subjects, many of which in fact pose risks to citizens' lives. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.